Well, disappointing news coming in from Hamilton in New Zealand, where the Indian women's cricket team have lost to host New Zealand by 62 runs in their second outing this ODI World Cup. Joining me now is my colleague Shazia. Shazia, a disappointing end to a match where we never really thought India could win.
Yes, you're right, Siddhant. The way we began, I thought winning the toss and electing to field first proved to be a good decision by Mithali, because we saw Susie Bates, we sent her back to the pavilion on the score of 5, and then what affected us was the middle order, New Zealand middle order. They scored quite a lot of number of runs from Sophie Devine, 35, 50 from Amelia Kerr, and then Amy, 75. So this was the difference between India and New Zealand, because in New Zealand middle order batters performed and Indian middle orders failed to perform. It was a poor batting show from the Indian women.
Very true. In terms of the performance of Amelia Kerr, I want to specifically talk about her for a little while, just because she was doing so well against India in that ODI series as well. She was the player of the series, and then again, you still haven't figured out how to get her out early. She made those 50 runs and was then, of course, Amy Satterthwaite, the former New Zealand captain, scored 75 runs. But the thing that I want to highlight right now, what made the difference in this match entirely? Of course, India lost those 2 wickets right at the beginning of the batting innings. But then, it's the strike rate I want to focus on. Of course, Susie Bates got out for 5 runs, that's okay. But you see, Sophie Devine, her strike rate was more than 100. And even for Amelia Kerr and Amy Satterthwaite, for one it was almost 80, and for one it was almost 90. Whereas in comparison, let's take a look at the Indian innings, and that is where I feel India lost today. After those early 2 wickets, couple of wickets, where of course Smriti Mandhana's loss, a huge loss. But if you can see here, the strike rate for the Indian top 4 is not even 56, by the way. 55.36 is the highest for Mithali Raj among the India's top 4. So I believe this is what made the difference. What do you make of India's batting performance overall?
Siddhant, here I would like to point it out that here, Indian team has been performing individually well. If you look at Harmanpreet Kaur, she performed well. Then if you go back to the bowling section, then we had Pooja Vastrkar, she did well. Rajeshwari Gaikwad took 2 wickets, she did pretty well. But when you are at a big event, you need to collectively perform as a team. You need to have your batting lineup in place when you're chasing such a big target. 261 was not an easy target, and against the host, and you've not been doing well against the host. We saw during the recently concluding.
Just to remind our viewers, this is probably the 7th time these 2 teams have faced off in the last 1 month. There was the 1 T20I which India lost. Then there was a 5-match ODI series against New Zealand women, which India lost 4-1. And that 1 victory that India had, that came in the last game as well of the ODI series. So definitely we haven't learned our lessons. Considering how we performed, our top order just did not fire today, and it was a strike rate. Even after Smriti Mandhana and Deepti Sharma got out early on in the innings, I thought Mithali Raj and Yastika Bhatia became a little too slow out in the middle.
And plus, Siddhant, the journey moving forward will get tougher for Team India, because you are going to play West Indies, who's done pretty well against England. They won a very cliffhanger in the last over. Then you will play against England, you will play against Australia. So the journey is going to get tougher for Team India from here onwards.
Well, it's the World Cup and the best sides are going to be there. Of course, there's only one team we have beaten till now, and that's Pakistan, who are, by the way, bottom of the pile. So beating Pakistan, it's done. The rivalry, everything, people are talking about how good a victory it was, everything. Now it's in the past. Now we have to focus on what's ahead. And now after this loss, it's very important that India beat the West Indies women's side on Saturday. That's going to be a very crucial encounter for Mithali Raj's side.
How tough will it be, because we just have 1 day to go before we face West Indies on 12th of March. How difficult will it be for India to focus on that particular match, because we just have 1 day in hand?
See, my point is they have to regroup. Of course, you have to go back to the drawing board where they'll talk about what went wrong for them. Of course, the fact that the middle order scored way too many runs, India found it very difficult to break those partnerships. But it's the batting which has been a major disappointment in this match.
Exactly.
If you look at what Harmanpreet Kaur did, she scored 71 runs off 63 balls. And the others just didn't do well. Even Yastika Bhatia, for an opener when you're coming out, even if you lose a couple of wickets, it's important for you to make some quick runs, because otherwise considering you were chasing a target which exceeded more than 250 runs, your run rate had to be more than 5 runs per over. You had to get a start, but Yastika Bhatia's wicket, India lost in the 20th over and they were 50 for 3.
Exactly.
50 runs, so you still have about 200 runs in 30 overs, which is a lot. And for women's cricket, I believe they should have probably, considering they lost 2 wickets, they probably still should have scored at a much better pace than they did today.
A poor performance, a poor batting performance indeed from the Indian women's team, and I would point it out here that they've been doing well in bits and pieces, but here you at the World Cup you have to be consistent with your performance, and moving forward for the 12th of March match against West Indies, India has to bring in that consistency, especially in their batting.
Yes, so that was about what happened today. Day after tomorrow, there's another big game. As Shaza pointed out, India is going to take on Stefani Taylor's side. And let's see whether India can finally get their combinations right and probably get a win, a much needed win. Because if they don't win that game, it's going to be very hard for them to qualify for the knockouts.
So that's all from us right now, and we hope going forward, we'll bring you all the updates from the ICC Women's World Cup.
So do like, share, subscribe, and we'll get you more details and updates on the Women's World Cup. Thank you for watching.